In Washington, D.C., the night began like any other major political event. Bright lights, cameras everywhere. A room filled with some of the most powerful and influential figures in the United States. Journalists, politicians, officials, all gathered in one place for the annual White House Correspondents Dinner. Among them was Donald Trump, who arrived under heavy security measures as expected for someone in his position. And as in every major appearance, his movements were subject to monitoring, scrutiny, and layers of unusual protection. To the public, it looked like an ordinary night. But outside, something was already moving. And now let us say hello to Saravex. Hours before the event, the man who would later become the center of attention had already made his decision. According to initial reports and investigations, he was not acting randomly. He had traveled, prepared, and brought weapons with him. He wrote messages expressing frustration and political anger. In those writings, he described himself in extreme terms, even referring to himself as a hitman. This was not a moment of impulse. It was intentional. As time passed, the focus of the guests inside shifted to speeches, conversations, and media coverage. No one in the hall knew what was about to happen outside. Then suddenly, everything changed. At around 8:30 p.m., near one of the security checkpoints outside the venue, the attacker executed his plan. He opened fire simply because he wanted to reach the main target. According to initial information from investigations and available press reports regarding the White House Correspondents Dinner shooting incident, the attacker was not moving randomly, but had a clear level of prior planning. Reports indicate that he was monitoring the event before carrying it out, gathering information about the location and the type of attendees, including the presence of major political figures such as Donald Trump and senior government officials. On the day of the incident, he arrived in the vicinity of the event carrying firearms concealed in a disguised manner within his personal belongings. According to initial investigations, he managed to approach one of the entry points before being detected, taking advantage of the crowding and heavy movement around the event. However, despite that, the security screening system did not allow him to fully enter the main hall. At the moment he approached the internal area, he attempted to move quickly and carry out the attack, which led to gunfire in the external area before he was stopped by security personnel. Investigations also indicated that the attacker had clear political motives, with previous writings and messages showing a state of anger toward political figures and government policies. However, there is still no confirmed evidence indicating the presence of a network or organized group behind him. Rather, the information suggests he acted alone. Overall, the plan relied on two main elements: approaching a high-value target and exploiting a moment of weakness in security coverage. But the rapid response of security forces prevented him from reaching the final stage of the attack. Witnesses later described a moment of confusion, then noise, gunfire. Several shots were fired within a matter of seconds. Security personnel responded immediately. One officer was injured, but he was protected by his body armor. The response was fast, trained, and decisive. Within moments, the situation shifted from a controlled environment to complete chaos. Inside the venue, the atmosphere changed instantly. People stopped talking, some froze in place, others moved without thinking. Security voices cut through the noise. Active shooter. That was enough. The United States Secret Service moved quickly. Their priority was clear: protect the high-profile individuals inside, including Trump. He was secured and covered immediately, then escorted out of the area. The same procedure was applied to other officials. The goal was simple: remove all targets before the situation escalated, and it worked. Outside, the attacker was confronted before reaching the main gathering area. He was stopped and detained before he could continue toward the event. That moment changed everything. Because if he had managed to enter, this story would have been completely different. So why did he do it? That question remains the focus of the investigation. But based on available reports, several key factors are already clear. He expressed political anger, he wrote about his beliefs, he showed signs of frustration and ideological radicalization. This aligns with patterns seen in similar cases, where individuals do not act purely out of emotion, but out of beliefs built over time. It was not just anger, it was direction. And in the hours following the incident, the area was shut down. Security procedures were reviewed, questions were raised, and one major issue emerged. How did someone get this close, carrying weapons, at an event like this? Because this was not just any ordinary gathering. This was a high-level assembly of influential figures, yet something still got through. And in the following days, investigations continued. Authorities analyzed the attacker's background, his movements before the event, his writings and intentions. And while the full picture is still being formed, one thing is already clear. This was not random. But here is what matters most. The attack failed. Not because it wasn't dangerous, but because the response was faster. Because in situations like this, seconds determine outcomes. And that night in Washington, those seconds changed everything. Because in a room filled with power, influence, and control, one person almost destroyed everything. And almost no one inside expected it to happen.